Hey, you'll love our sweet savings for spring at Williams. It'll be love at first sight for this suite at only £139. And there's £100 off many normal prices. Save £100 on this spacious suite. Williams save you £100 on this marvellous corner unit. Williams even save you £100 on this super leather look suite. Wouldn't you love £100 off one of these suites? Then hurry to see the sweet savings for spring at Williams Furniture Stores now.
In this week's Daily Mirror, the age of sex equality. But she's wearing the trousers. Now Desmond Morris, best-selling author of The Naked Ape, exposes the truth about today's go-getting girls, the she-males of the 70s, only in the Mirror this week. And how about this? Dressed to kill? Then strip for action. It's a great bargain offer only in the Mirror. And what do you know? Who's the mastermind in your family? Don't miss the Mirror's super fun quiz this week and see how you score. Get money off top LPs at W.H. Smith Record Departments in the Mirror this week. And take a super Thompson holiday at a knockout price. You could save £20. Yes, £20 for each member of the family. It's big Thompson value only for Mirror readers. Look out for it in the More for Your Money Mirror this week.
That nice little woman down your street, underneath it all, she's one of the huntresses. This week, the Sun looks at a new breed of woman who no longer waits to be asked. Young and old, single and married, they all hunt their men and bring them back alive. Meet the huntresses in the Sun. Learn how to talk to your body to make it beautiful in the Sun.
And let them truckers roll.
Find out what it's like in the world of the truck driver. Discover the secrets of their private code, learn their slang, and meet their girls in Go Trucker Go. All in your super 5-piece Sun this week.
Now is the time for ice cream. Ice cream time! It's ice cream time with Lion's Mane. Ice cream time with Lion's Mane.
Ladies and gentlemen, things are that good. They're that good. Me pants have fallen down. I'll show you that in a minute because I'm sure you'll want to see, but hold on as we enter the domain. Come on then, Smokey, let's go check it out. Ladies and gentlemen, YouTubers, Patreons, things are looking good. After 2 years, you go down there. After 2 years, we've done it. We've only gone and done it. And this episode, in an unusual turn of events, Smokey, you see the finished product just a couple of hours away from the film footage, if you know what I mean. Coming up on episode 45, is how we got here. You're all going to be up to speed. You're all going to be up to date. You saw us leaving off, putting the bumpers on. You saw that 3-hour bumper bonanza of the car approaching its completion, and of course some of you were already had your completed radars switched on, and you were picking up a blip which meant another Mark III is about to be born. Smokey takes cue to leave. Go and get your dinner, lad. Requests for Smokey granted. Smokey, let's do the chicken impression. Are you ready? Go on then. Out he goes. Where we go from here, nobody knows, but it's that good. My pants are falling down, and I look like one of those escaped. No, not even escaped. I'm one of those convicts in one of those jails with them funny pants that fall down by the roadside, and you walk like this, all swaggered out like. Let's hitch up. Do you want to send me some braces? Then send them. We do the victory dance, and we go round, and we talk about it. We talk about GXL. We talk about faux orange on the dashboard, courtesy of the homes. And now, before we start the show, backwards then. I said I do things backwards sometimes. Feast your eyes. Episode 45 coming in very shortly. Have you got your beers? Have you got a comfy place to sit? Have you got your root beer, your Eccles cakes, your vodka and coke, your JD and coke, your spritzers, your red wines, your white wines, your rosés, your gin and tonics, and everything else in between, your herbal teas, your black coffees, and everything else in between. Yes, we did it. Here we are. It has arrived in time for Gaydon, subject to the weather, ladies and gentlemen. If it's absolutely chucking it down at Gaydon on the 23rd of August 2020, well, maybe we won't be there if it's absolutely. But weather permitting, and if rain doesn't stop play, join us. And in the meantime, you might want to say, how do we get here? Do you remember when I was sat down in the workshop around this area in episodes 1, 2 and 3, starting to chop the front off this car? Do you remember when we came out of the dippers and there was virtually nothing left? Do you remember when Mr. Ian Seabrook said, it's a bit frilly? Do you remember when the dippers said, we'll get you another body shell, or you maybe want to be getting another body shell, there's not a lot left here for you, move along. But we didn't. We stayed sure, we stayed sharp, we stayed focused, and we visualized this day just about 2 years ago, from an absolute wreck to something that drives very nicely. We don't really care about the multi-point, multi-link 5-journal crank wider track suspension. We don't really care that the seats recline and that they've got bed levers. We only know it drives very nicely, and she loves the wonderful things he has to say about her. Yes, LED lighting, cruise control, uprated blower motor, high-speed blower motor, integrated sat-nav, electronically dimmable rear view mirror, integrated map reading lights, illuminated cubbyhole, central lighting, rear passenger lighting, rear centre roof mounted lighting, uprated chrome capped grab handles colour coded to match, colour coded gear stick shifter, complimentary cherry drop suites, chrome bezel surround instrument clusters, illuminated cigarette ashtray, illuminated fascia control panels, MP3, lights on warning alarm, heated washer jets, Varimatic intermittent wiper, 0 to 2 minutes adjustable, Variomatic fan speed controller using the choke lever, multifunction warning lamps, chrome detailed heater face vents. It's got a lot and more. Projected illuminated GXL puddle lamps, optional, can be switched off if you don't want to be a chaff. Red LED end pieces and warm lamp downlighted puddle lamps. Detailed winder inserts, re-veneered, everything redone, refurbished door cards, upgraded felt channel, new door seals, completely refurbished, a total experience. Chrome pedal surround trim pieces, integrated mats, super duper colour coded carpets. It's got the lot, illuminated boot controls. Wow, it's got everything. It's got everything, everybody, and you're going to see how this car ended up getting to this stage in the last few episodes of the films. We're going to whack it all together in one last hurrah, one last go as we have our live chat, but don't you worry, there'll be plenty more live chats where this one came from. No worries about that. Ross style wheels with optional sports steel wheels available if we want them. Mud flaps to stop all our hard work getting stone chipped, because Pete likes to drive off road sometimes because he's like that. Response to someone who said, "What a knobhead you are, restoring these cars and going grass track racing." Pete brings car back to workshop, removes traces of grass and cleans underneath all the arches, WD-40s, wax oils, blow dries, cleans out and even retouches up under the arches and everywhere else by the time he gets home after such a round trip on the road that it's not a problem to go grass track racing. He knows what he's doing. He's been driving Cortinas for 20 odd years. Don't worry about that. Detailed tax disc with the place of where the car was first registered on the stamp, courtesy Russell Wallace. Let's go under the engine. Let's see what we've got under there. Oh, wow, 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 wow. And all this because the lady loves Mk3. Do you remember me taking that call? Do you remember me taking that call? Hello? The Dippers, you're nearly ready. One squadron scramble! Do you remember? Yeah, hello? Hello? Do you remember? Let's go. Let's have a look under the engine bay. Details, ladies and gentlemen, details. We've got LED lighting under there. We've got automatically switching on under body lamps twinned up. GXL normally has one. The C Cortina pack has two. Detailing stickers on the slant panels. We've got cruise control cable coming in there. The engine bay fully detailed. Come in and have a little look-ski. This is what we were working on. So we're kind of summarising before the main event starts. Gives you plenty of time to get ready. You've already seen the intro film, so you know it's been out driving. I'm sure that you're chilled out to that Pink Floyd tune. Of course, I had to separate the videos because one's monetised and one's not. Obviously, with the rights to the music on the Floyd, we kept that separately. And so 6 minutes later, you were here with us, of course, and you sort of jumped across onto the next film that became live just 6 minutes after the main intro. So, engine bay, we got a detailed battery. We've got all the other little bits and goodies in there, nice wiring harnesses and everything, and there's our uprated blower motor. Keen spotters will notice the raised bulge here, rather like the bulge on a Mark II Vulcan with electronic countermeasures in the back end of the Vulcan bomber. Similar, the details are there if you look for them. Fast power, loads of torque in the blower motor, giving you good airflow. In fact, the cabin is so airtight that it's actually hard to close the doors with the windows up. We need to find a way around this. Door rubber's still bedding in, still takes quite a little bit of a 1, 2, I buckle my shoe to get them to shut, but they will get better. I've had this before. However, there'll always be that little bit harder to close because it's so airtight in the cabin. Perhaps we need to make some exit air vents behind the seats, and that polythene on those seats perhaps was just a little bit adventurous. But I must say, it drives like a dream. Very quiet, very smooth. Those UJs you're about to see us set up come into their own and pay off because there's no vibration on the prop shaft. There's no vibration on the drivetrain at all, and I mean at all. And at night, these front lamps just really do light the way, bouncing off motorway signs hundreds of yards down the road. Even in broad daylight you can see the lights, they're that good, hitting the road signs. Everything is there. Drives like a dream, corners like a dream, sounds like a dream, goes like a dream. Ladies and gentlemen, patrons and YouTubers, we did it. Let's roll the film. Give me the amber nectar. Give me the amber nectar. Give me the amber nectar. Which way to Cockfosters? Give me the amber nectar. Yeah. Hey up, it's Potmasters. Should we go and have a try? The first one everyone gets. I don't even want to put that on. Already knackered cloth, stupid. Right, over here. Come on, join me. We don't even turn you off. Calendars turn us the other way. This is... Can I do it without stupidly walking in front? This will really keep the wool from the door, folks. Let me spin the screen so I can see what you can see. Now it makes a bit of a clunky noise when I do that with the screen. Can you see what I can see? Yes, you can indeed. Now I know that may look excessive, but let me tell you that these bumpers rust excessively if you don't. I'm telling you, I've seen them untreated, repaired, restored, gone back on the car, only to rust 3 or 4 years later, especially them underriders. I've seen them go through in no time. So you might think, oh, that's a mess. It's not. This will stop your bumper strip nuts from seizing up. It'll stop rust getting behind the seams of the brackets and everything. It looks messy, but we wipe down. We're on cardboard. Look, not much overspray. It's very directional with that nozzle, so it doesn't go all over the place. It's an essential thing to do. It looks messy, but you don't see it. It's there. That'll set nicely, and we're done. Okay, that's one of them things where I think, well, I'm prepared to take the criticism on this. I don't think you will, but if you do, I'm ready to virulently defend this. Has to be done. I do not want that bumper rotting. They're too hard to get hold of, too expensive to chrome, especially the underriders, and I just want to sit there knowing I've got 10 years on this. Maybe with the odd top up. Ooh, dangerous. The weather weren't so ridiculously, disgustingly bad. Could have the door open. Very dangerous. Oh! Ooh! Whoa! Right, well, just slacking off these 13s now. Get this in. Everything's covered in grease and wax oil, but don't worry about that. Underriders, bumper slid in, underriders on, going into all the original holes that we set up. The advantage of prepping all the car well before you go to paint, planning it out, and we measured these to get them straight. That's it, that's on. So they're solid, bumper's solid. We just wipe down now with some terps because everything's covered in my paw prints. But suffice to say again that the bumper is square and parallel. We've just made it so that it is square and parallel. There's plenty of adjustment in these, but when we were building the car again, this was all mocked up, so we're just going back to our original positions. Nothing's altered. And that is it. The only difference is the bumper's been chromed since it was on the car. We're just going to check the height along here to see if we have to move up a little bit or not, but it looks the same to me. So we might go up just a touch this end, and then that is it. We are in. To get that little adjustment, you can just get a 13 down the back of the bumper here, slacken off, and you'll get a little bit of movement. We'll get the spirit level on there. And just make sure, obviously check that the car's level as well. I'll use a digi protractor on it, and just get a. What I'll do it reference the this panel rather than the actual car being level. The car may be a degree to one side on them jacks. The floor itself might not be 1 degree correct, obviously, so we just go relative, so it's square relatively. So I'm going to do that now with a digi protractor, maybe slacken off here, just bring it up a touch. That's set then. We'll do a square measurement between the underriders, so a crisscross diagonals to check that the square with each other, and that is it. These move. What I did was, and it's not the done thing at Fords, but I do it, the hole for the bottom mount of this underrider, I make a decent size. In this case it was 20mm. You may think that sounds excessive, but when you come to rebolt your car back together, if you've got a very tight tolerance on this slam panel lower valance hole, you'll find you can't get it exactly where you want because this hole's restricting a little bit of movement. If you make them enough where you've got plenty of wiggle room, use a large washer at the back. The face of this underrider is big enough for the 20mm hole, so you're not going to collapse the metal. It's sandwiching two solid pieces together with the panel in between. It enables you to get exactly where you want, gives you plenty of wiggle room, which I found in the past you need. If you don't, then you try and move the bumper over, what happens is you lose the square of your right underriders from the front and they can be skewed. Maybe not noticeable to the eye until you get right down with a tape measure, but one of those OCD moments has to be done. So that's it. I'll step you back with the garage door open so that you can see the bumper once I've wiped it down and levelled it just to this panel, and that is it for that bumper. We'll then be moving on to something else, not sure what. We need to put the arch trims on. We've got some nice rivets for those, I don't know if I covered it, but come off the tripod, maybe keep you running. These coach lines were added. You can see we go straight down, arrow straight on those. So basically the clips arrived that were missing. I do see a very slight deviation in the door. That'll be one of the drill holes for the clips. When I've laser leveled it, probably has gone 2 mil, which just creates a slight deviation in the coach line. One to watch when you're marking out your holes. Very easily done. On the hole, here, on the hole, you're not going to know. It's only when you start looking down here and you think it just a little bit, you know. So we could take that off, scrap that hole, and then mark a new hole 2 mil down and reclip it. We may do that because it's, you know, it can be annoying, but then again, there is a the door does start to come away in the natural shape of the door, and it could be an optical illusion. I'll have a look at the other side. Anyway, leave those little OCD things with me. You can see that I'm not panicking about it much because we're so closely in the zone that these are just like very fine moments, and we won't spend hours and hours letting it hold us up as long as we stay within those accepted tolerances that we talked about so much throughout the build, the level at where I'm happy, because otherwise it becomes some kind of train spotting OCD project, which is pointless when you've got your life to live. So remember, we talked about the bigger picture. We talked about, you know, you can prep, you can save time by getting things right in the first place. That doesn't take that much more, but gives you 10 times the result, so you get a big payoff for a small investment of time. And they're the good things. If there was something that was OCD that was going to take months and it didn't really give a net benefit for the time invested, then I wouldn't do it. Because if you don't allow that cut-off level, then that'll filter and percolate through into other areas of your life, and it'll impinge upon your life instead of it being an advantage or benefit. So you do have to, when you're doing a project, it's not only the physical aspect, it's not only the mechanical aspect, it's the mental aspect and the bigger picture. None of us are getting any younger. Each year you're another year older, of course, and the world constantly changes year on year. Time ticks away, people get older, and the point is to be enjoying yourself with every minute that you've got. And that's where these OCD moments can impinge upon that, because time is precious. And I know I mentioned that my rambles take up your valuable time, but consider that part of your leisure. And you can always flick to another YouTube channel if it's not the kind of philosophical mumbo jumbo and twaddle that you don't want to hear from Pete C at Cortina City. Right, well, there we go. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Take no prisoners under here. Blast it, big time. Okay, you might think, well, you're ruining all that lovely silver that you've painted on. But no, this is more important to protect the car. Under here we leave the majority of it. Around the front, them indicators get absolutely blitzed in it. You know, just complete, because it'll dry nice, it'll be dry like a skin in a film. It's okay. It's good to be vigilant. So that was the 3125 going on. We're all done for that. Both sides have been done. We want to go back. We've got the chassis legs to do with the ML. We've got the doors and the rear quarter inners to do with the ML. Mustn't forget that job before the door cards go on. Very important to get those doors ML'd up. And then 125 on top of the ML in the doors. So doors get special treatment. We're going to do those next. Welcome to another day. For you it's just minutes, as always. For me it's another day, and it's the end of a day. This time I've been out getting parts. Would you believe Bramble's glass was no good? Luckily I had a spare one off the Portuguese breaker, but Bramble's glass on the passenger side was also no good. No good! So I had to go out scouting, and I did find some glass. Luckily there's that Crayford save or grave. It was the grave, but its passenger glass was good, and I already had another spare door glass, so we've managed to do it. And I've installed the glass by just putting in the winder frame. Dead easy, it's only 6 bolts on the winder frame there. We greased the winder frame up. I just used engine oil actually on its little bar that it's got. We'll show you that on the passenger side how we did it. This door's built up, you can see the puddle lights lit up there. A couple of little clips and things, it's all pretty much straightforward stuff. But what I'm doing now is getting ready to fit the weather strip. So I've put these little clips in. If you want to see these clips, they're down on the floor. Get them from Resto. There's 2 types, but I'm going to be using just the one type for both sides. I'll show you why later, but these are the clips. And there they are. Okay, they're the clips, and they're all stuck to the lamp. Enough of that. Up we go, and we just slide them in there. I just put them on the end of a screwdriver. So if you use a end of a blade screwdriver and you come in, let's grab it and I'll show you. Holding it tight, I'm going to drop it on the car. Hover them in like this, and then tap the screwdriver to the left and they clip in. And now I'm just greasing them up so that the trim will drop in nicely. So a little bit of just a multi-purpose grease in each one, then I'll drop that trim piece in, and that's another part done. The weather seals have been glued on. You can clip the weather seals on, but I've glued them onto the polished chrome trims. Hang on, let's put the light to one side. Here we are. So the trims are available from East Kent or eBay or Woolies. Comes in metre lengths or 2 metre lengths, and you cut down to size. I've clipped on, but it's also got some tiger seal on that, so it's a very solid piece. Ready to go in as soon as we do the rest of that grease there, piece grease. A few more bits of grease to go on, and then this will drop in and that seals up against the glass. So that was done on the polishing wheel, which you saw. Some of the trim getting done on the polishing wheel. Excuse me, my nose was itching then, I just had to scratch. So that's going to clip on the door. So door frame being built up then for this section of the film as we approach the trimming part of the car build. Okay, let me put the camera down and I'm going to clip this in. I think you'll just about be able to see here, so just a little bit in each one. LM because it's in a tube all ready to go. A non-melting grease. Whoops! A non-melting grease would be best. This area can get hot behind the glass with the sun on it, you see. But not that it has to last forever, I suppose. It's just really there to help assemble the trim coming up now. With the clips in, this should pop in. This one, these ones can be removed now. Actually, they're interfering, they're in the wrong place. These clips I used for locking it together, I'm going to take them off because they're not needed now. Whoops! Oh, my neck, the cat put themselves all over the place. You couldn't if you tried to do that. Wow, right. Just need to slot this in. That just took very nicely then. I think we're looking good. It's looking good. Yep, I like the way it's gripping. That's gone in. That just went in. Those clips have engaged, gripped, and we're good basically to go. I don't think it'll go any more into those support clips now than it has. That is it. Okay, off the tripod, or into my hand you go, just to see what we've just done there. Just to make a nice finish. That goes in, and now I've got tape on the top of the glass just to, in case I've slipped with any of the clips. And now we should see a good effect come around this side as the glass wipes on to the trim I've just fitted. It's a little bit back, it'll be pushed from the other side this way a little bit, so you get a bit more tension than that, but that's a nice seal. There it is, there's your weather seal for your glass, working very well there. So that's that trim on and done really. It's good to go. I have known these pop off Rent-A-Go style, but we'll see. You know, with that grease that I've put on it, it is easy to pop it off. Should never come off, but I have seen them lift, and I've sometimes gone to a car show and noticed my trim's lift, I've just knocked it back down. That's it. It comes up and seals on that glass very nicely with those trim pieces on. And when you get the one on the other side, it just gives it a little bit more push up. Watch, I'll show you the mean. Just gives it that and finishes it off. The trim goes on both sides. Now, you do normally have a felt pad on this side that fits almost flush with it, but the jury's out. I do fit the weather trim on both sides because it seems to make a better seal, because I've never had much luck with those felt pad ones, but they are out there and they can be fitted. We just need to see what works best. You could argue that the felt pad works better in the terms that it's actually a better wedge, and you could argue it's a better seal, and when you fit the rubber bladed one on this side, it's able to wobble a bit more. I don't know, I'm going to experiment with both types. Certainly on my 4-door cars I've done rubber on both sides, so you've had the rubber blades fitted both sides, and it does seem to seal very well. On this door, with it being a bigger glass, I don't know if it's better to take advantage of the felt seal strip and have it inside there. I don't know. I'm going to see if when I clip it in I can see that it's waving or there's gaps. It ain't going in, so we're going to play with that. But that piece of trim's on and out of the way. It's off the bench, on the car and out of the way. Okay, here we go. Key in, locking pin. Hell yeah. Okay, lock and close the door. Now bear with me because these rubbers, there's anything in the way, these rubbers are tight, so this will take, see what I mean about the bounce? Got to give it a good, and that'll bed in though. Then we can lock the door. Locked, and that is it. We are done there. Nice, very nice indeed. Hell yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, so it's clunky because the thickness of this rubber. That's just overspray there, by the way. It will bed in. All my cars have done exactly the same thing. This one's a bit harder because it's a bigger aperture, more rubber surface area, but it will go. They'll soften up, don't worry about it. I'll probably have to get this now. I know the force required. Bang. Okay, it's, as I say, it's a bit aggressive, but we'll be okay, don't worry. So that's it, we are done there. Really good. Very pleased with that. Going to move on, fit the front reg plate, mirrors on here, look. There's our mirror. Yours for 4K, nicely in. Let's hope those mirrors are symmetrical, eh? A couple of discrepancies you notice as you're building it up. These pillars, this door, the same as Ruby's door, actually starts off flush there, then tapers away in, no idea why, but I've noticed that in a few Mark 3s. This parallel, the other side's a little bit out and sits a bit further back. A couple of things where there's discrepancies and not exactly symmetrical either side, which annoys me a bit, but I understand that that is the nature of the business, considering what I had to do to the car. Whoops, I bumped into the mirror. Considering what I had to do to the car, you know, I've got to, there's that level again that you're talking about. That top chrome screen trim, really, when it was fitted, should have been fitted about 5mm across that way, which would bring them trims more evenly spaced. They're wanting to kick across, and that's because this is now locked in. I'm never going to move it. I could do with a slide in that, because there's load. This wants to go here, look. It's trying to go there and it can't. And it's got loads of room to move, and the other side wants to push it across, so that would even that up a little bit. It's okay from the inside, the seal, but from the outside, the shape of it doesn't grip it the same as the Ford one did. I'm going to have to live with it for now. And oh, of course, you know, those A-pillars that I did, maybe I'm a few mil out on those as well. You just don't know. It was a lot of work went in. But gap-wise, we got away with it. Hang on. Blimey neck, turn that radio down now. You can hear yourself think, jeez. We need to bring the wing out just a touch here. So loosen off this bolt, then claw behind here very gently, something that's not going to mark the paint, and bring it out just a little bit. That's how I set it up, so that's how we've got to do it. This is what I was telling you about. This gap, narrow there, widens out a bit. We could pull the frame, as Alan says, block of wood, and we could bash that and just pull it a little bit. It's all down to fine tuning. This door shut. Again, this door is difficult to close on the rubber, harder than the other side actually. But we're running here. We open there. So that's it. I'm going to wind both windows up. This trim is so, the rubber's so good that as you wind the window up on those Bresco clips, it's popping out. Now, it's always going to do that. We're going to have to tiger seal this trim. We're going to have to put tiger seal in each slotted clip retainer, push it in and then leave it. It'll be a bit harder to ever take out, but we'll have to make a note, and I'll put a note inside the door that this trim needs expert care to take off because it's been bonded. So a bonded trim's going to have to go, otherwise it's going to be forever lifting off here on them clips. They're just not up to spec. The metal of them, where is one? Where are one? Where is A1, hey, here's one. They just, I mean that one's already snapped. They just can't quite grip. I'm waiting for this thing to focus, as always. There. It just can't quite grip the trim at this point. So this trim ends up vibrating off, you know, as you slam the door or as you wind the window up. This rubber blade's so good that it starts to kick the trim over and lift it bit by bit, and eventually after about 10 window winder things, doesn't come out, but it just lifts and leaves a gap. Look, we can't have that, you know, so that's an error. But there hasn't been many errors. If you think about it, there hasn't been. I just paused then because I was watching the camera. Just told me that I'm about to run out of video footage. This SD card is now full. I think the camera's hinting to shut up rambling. We're out of here. For you, it's just a few seconds. For me, it's a whole nother day. Good night. Saturday night, beer time. Hasta la vista, baby. We done good today. Now that all the windows are in, I can test the air cabin pressure tightness. Put the fan on full speed, so it's drawing air into here. Okay, everything should be airtight, and we'll know. Obviously, get these seals down. You're not going to get it everywhere because it's going to come out of the doors and stuff until the door cards are on. But you'll get an idea. Look at the back and look what we've got. We know the cabin's nicely pressurised, look, because it's coming out through the airflow system. All around here, you may even pick it up on your microphone. Showing us that everything's pressurised properly. That plenum we've got at the back's nicely sealed, and all the air's coming out through these. We're in reverse. As the car starts to accelerate, it will draw back and create a vacuum here, and you get ram at the front, so you get that great cabin fresh feeling. If you don't do this work and your seals are bad, you lose that sort of ability where you get a lovely quiet cabin but what's well ventilated, and this is looking like it's going to be really nice actually, because I'm not feeling any drafts around. Maybe one here. No, actually it's not. A little bit round this. That's not quite pushed down, so we really are shoving some air through that. That is great. So the airflow system then demonstrated and working well. A lot of air coming out this side too. So you can see that it pressurizes the cabin, and it's going to come down the back screen, and see these slots in the parcel shelf there. Through those slots in the parcel shelf, through that plenum inside the boot, transfers across through that into this channel here, and then through the inner wall of this channel, which is a sort of split wall, out to these. That's the rain trap, so that's your water trap there. Then you've got a sort of buffer zone with that box, that plenum box in the boot, and then into those. It may still work without the plenum box in the boot. I've never actually shown the airflow going through it. It's just that it seems that that's what it's for, because there is a direct route from this straight into there, but the plenum seems to lose the power. If you don't have it connected, you tend to lose all your force, your suction force seems to be wasted. So it seems to need that to seal the system up completely, I think anyway. Correct me if I'm wrong, and if you know any more info than that, I'd love to hear from you, because I'm very interested in how it works. But there you go. That shows us that we're running. Fantastic. Right, I will go now. See you, good night, and I'll see you tomorrow. PC signing out with all these doors fitted. Great stuff, what a great day. Really pleased. With the glass fitted and the door locks fitted, it's time to go revisit the reg plates. I think it's Chris Bradley's fault. He spotted that the font was different. I never noticed. Wow. Well, I did get OCD about it, and I want the same font. Well, Also, not only that, they don't want the same font, but the letters they sent me, look, the white underneath, white. So they're just not going to withstand the cleaning. So I've contacted them and they said, oh, we've painted them black, so that's no good. So I said, send me 2 blank plates then, and I'll build my own. Oh yeah, now you're talking font. Now these are black, but I'll spruce them up anyway. I've just given them a very nice 2000 wet and dry, and now Bramble gets the same font. We go over here and here's our blank plate, so we can build our own. Let's build our own exact font. So some of Bramble's letters, all of Bramble's letters, make it back onto the car, so another bit more originality, and a little discussion with the reg plate company about money needs to take place. Okay, that's the front reg plate done. Now we transfer across to the back. You'll see the T took a hit in the early days when we were slicing Bramble up. How? I don't know. 7 took a graze. But I've repaired those letters with some very fine powdered repair stuff, this stuff. Q-bond. And then just lightly sanded back, you'll never know it was there. So I'll drill this now based on this template, double check these fixings are the right ones. I'm sure they are, and we're good to go. Spire nuts then, just a little mini socket we can use to get these on so the letters are going on good. Seems crazy, I know, because we have the plates already done, but I think you'll understand what I mean about the font. And I don't think that they had that font available. I think you were stuck with what they had, and indeed who knows if it's actually available at all, you just don't know. So first one's on, there's the mount holes there. Okay, so we'll carry on. Let's hope we got this right. It's looking like we got it right so far. Had a hole missing for the 3 there, but we got it. Must have just missed drilling that one for the 3. 3 going on. That's the magic number. Oof. 7, please. A P, please, Bob. A 7, please, Bob. Lovely. A 7, please, Bob. A P, please, Bob. Eight. 2 for you. Larger than life. Make the rocking world go round. As Freddie says. K, last one. K class. Have I drilled all the holes right? I suppose K is the most crucial one in terms of the spacing, because there's 4. Oh no, there is on the other letter as well. Okay, just a little bit, see, a little bit out. It's okay. Whoa! Don't catch your cloth moth. Quadrophenia style, we caught the cloth moth. Wow! That scared me, made me jump. Jumper, right. Okay, please. I've got just one case. Yeah, it's very close, like, you know, a mil. Just that little bit. The plate was a little bit bent as I'm transcribing across the marking, so we did well though, to be fair, to only have those. Still wants a little bit of a touch on those. Be right back, we're nearly done. That's all the letters on there, we just need to put the last of the spires on. We've got 2 missing. Find those 2 on the back of here. No, where are they? We had the whole lot, probably on the floor. Anyway, you get the idea. We'll put that back on the car now, replacing the one that we had. Obviously I've just took it off. Here's the one we had. I pinched the spires off the back of this, so all these letters will fall out now. These go into stores as a memory of the past, or they get sent back. We get our money back. I don't know. I've messed with them, haven't I? So you can see the difference. Flatter and a more squarer font, as Chris Bradley rightly pointed out and got me onto it. I'd never spotted it. I didn't even realise. Hold on. Let's get you stood back. There you go. See a bit better now. Reg plates there. I need to thought it. Not a mega difference, but there is a difference. Particularly on the O and the 8, and the K is slightly different too. Obviously these are more 3D, but I mean it was alright, but it's going to rub off. I mean, is that 7 starting to... No, hello? Hello? Now that's not going to withstand one aggressive body scrub and it's going to be gone. One stone chip, one hardened bug hitting you 70, and that's going to be gone. These are black all the way through, so we don't get that problem, and we've touched them up as well. Okay, that's what we had to do, had to be done. An OCD moment has been satisfied. Let's get that on the back of the car and move on to something. Well, you know it's coming to the end of the film, the end of the series, at least in terms of building the car and things slowly start to come back down to earth, including me. You know it's coming to the end when you start seeing halogen lights pop up. On both previous builds, towards the end of the films, around episode 43, 42, we started putting the lamps together. And when I say together, what do I mean? Let me quickly explain for those who haven't seen previous episodes or familiar with the city way. Brand new lamps, okay? Because your 50-year-old lamps, even though they're new old stock, and this is a new old stock one, although it's not a Cortina, but it's exactly the same lamp, the silvering's already starting to go, okay? But the halogen logo's nice. Now GXL's had these white halogen logos here and curved glass bowls from Lucas, okay? And that's what we want. But whilst this glass is good, the backing's no good, so the idea is to get the glass off and fit it, retrofit it to a brand new unit. Why not just use the brand new unit? Well, they're supplied with flat glass, non-Lucas marked, non-stamped, and with no halogen decal. In fact, it's actually stove enamelled on. You could get stickers, they don't last and they don't look the real deal. You need that Lucas number there, that Lucas halogen, a 7320 for your dip and side unit, and then for the main high beam, this 8104 here, single bulb unit, focus straight ahead. You could have quad driving lamps, so 4 of these and then 4 high beamers, but I prefer the original setup, and simply because trying to get this dip beam unit to switch to high beam is a kind of like compromising the lamp, because the glass isn't set to permanently run a dedicated high beam. It's kind of like trying to do 2 jobs, but it will work. But nothing's better than a dedicated driving lamp, which is what this is. This is a dedicated driving lamp, and you can see that the ring to it is focused. There's the parabolic or the concave reflector bowl, all set and focused for a high beam forward pointing lamp, so the whole bulb dedicates itself to firing straight forwards, giving you a much better forward vision than it would if you had 4 dipped beams like this. Reason is that this lamp, as I said, tries to compromise. It can't project fully forward there because of this portion of the glass and the way these lenses are designed to throw the light slightly down and across away from other drivers. Of course, portion of it is able to be set for high beam, but it will never be as good as one dedicated, what you would call a driving lamp, basically. At least that's the way that I've logicked it out. So we're going to make a set of 4, all with halogen glass. So the first mission was to find a set of good condition glass, which we managed to do over the years. So you've got two 7320s, and as far as I know, 2 8104s. Now, I don't think these 7320s, I think that is it. Just 2 of those. I don't think it's left and right handed, because they're designed to sweep across. I'm going to keep my eyes out and make sure that every lamp I come across is a 7320. These ones from eBay then, they're no good. Well, they are if you want to get yourself on the road with Cortina City, then they're fine. I'm not knocking these PAL Auto Hal ones. Hold on. A knife is not to hand. Oh wow, that's tight. Oh my God, that's tightly wrapped. Oh, ooh, I can hardly get in. The first time, trying to wiggle the bishop home. Come on, blooming heck! Whoa! Oh, that's like a 50-calorie workout. Wow. Okay, so that would be great. You could use that on your Cortina. Why not? Keep yourself on the road. Don't be snobby like me. But we don't want this glass. But we do want the back part of it. So we've got to extract out the glass without damaging the back part. Now, you could drop this in some kind of solution that would eat away at this mastic silicone, but would also damage the silver. And the only way I've found to actually get it out is to physically break it, because you want to break it upside down and then snap the glass out. Now it's messy and destructive and I don't like it. I'd rather have dipped it. I don't want to heat it. I don't even want to go anywhere near this back piece because it's so sensitive that I think it would get damaged. Now you're going to get impact fragments as that fractures away. We're going to use compressed air to lightly dust them out and try and minimise the damage. I don't like doing that, but I can't think of any other way. You could somehow immerse this so that it's only semi-submerged. If you're really careful, there may be a solution out there. We're not going there. Right, let's extract the glass then. We know what we're going to do. We're going to glue these glasses onto those new backing plates, but we've got to get the glass out without breaking it. And believe me, if you're going to try this, if you're going concourse or you just want to make your car that bit more authentic, you're going to try it. You're going to accumulate yourself some Triumph Stag, Ford Cortina, new old stock, whatever, but these are on quite a few cars, so you have a good chance of finding these. But you've got to get them out. Now then, this is what I do. Angle grinder or croc sander or power file, weaken the edge where it joins this lip. Now see how they're pressed in, they're pressed and glued. So what I do, I get carefully in the angle grinder, I put the angle grinder in the vise, then spin this and slowly eat away at it, always coming in from the back. Chances are if you do glance the glass, you'll probably just etch it rather than crack it. What you don't want to do is have any force or leverage action, because that's where it will crack. Now then, once I've thinned this down and I've got a fracture line, a visible fracture line, which I have, you've got to break into it, get a break into air, a beginning piece formed, and then as you curl away, you'll hear the weak point that you've added to it starts to break like a tin opener. Listen. And all your force is kept down. Now, you couldn't do this without the score line, so you've got to put your angle grinder in and get that score line. Hold on, let me get you in shot. You'll find it very easy, but you've got to go really careful. Whoa! We've done it. No damage, and that off very neatly indeed by that tin opener method. Now looking at the glass, we may be able to just get into this edge. I'm very worried it could just suddenly pop off because it could already be broken. We don't know. Now we're going to use a blade and slice now underneath that. I'm going to do it while you're on. I don't know if I've got a blade on the bench, because you can watch me suffer if you want. I'll tell you what I'll do. You can watch me suffer. I'll take a seat, re-angle this camera now to just give you a better shot, and we'll see if we can get the blade. We'll be very careful because we're going to use the blade naked, not in the housing. I don't recommend that. Very carefully cut away from ourselves. Let's see if we can open this glass up. Exciting times then. Cortina City headlamp restoration. Right, let's see what we can do. First, very careful and very wary that the blade is out there. We're aware that we've got a naked blade here, so I'm going to cut into this rubber, strong stuff, whatever it is. Feel the blade going in. As I said, ultra aware of this blade. Try and just feel it carefully. Otherwise you're A&E with a massive slash on your hands. Going to go in, let the blade find its way. Very careful. So it's silence all around. I want you to be quiet now. Put your drinks down. No chatting, no chit chat. Everyone be quiet. Be very quiet. This is delicate. There is no room for error. Silence, please. one salvage glass. And that is it. Now, that's to be discarded, apart from, first of all, we want to wrap this. This to be discarded, apart from the metal backing piece, which we're going to fuse onto the back of this one to make it look factory. We're actually going to make it so the locking cap fits onto the back of this. It's a little bit tricky, but it can be done. You have to mess with these cables to do it so that you end up with a 3-pin, but we have to add a pin here for the extra high beam. So we're going to go for it, because this has got side, but whilst this was only a dip, we have quad high beam, whereas Ford would have only had the high beam in the outer driving lamp. Okay, as I said, you can use these ones, and these will work on dip and high beam, so you can have 4 dip and 4 high beam, but you can't do it the same way with the Ford setup if you want to keep your original driving lamp arrangement, and most of you would. If you go into the effort of changing into the halogen glass, you'd be crazy to be fitting 4 lots of these, what they call 7320s. You could do 4 lots of 7320s, but it wouldn't look the same, especially from the front. And I know this angle catches on photographs where you can clearly see your driving lamp arrangement, but you could do it if you want it. And certainly if you're just fitting the Autopal ones, then you've nothing to lose. You may as well stick them on all 4 dip and all 4 high beam, because that's how they come anyway, with the bulb arrangement that way. 4 sides, 4 quad, high beam, 4 dips. But as I say, it's harder to do it when you're using original Lucas glass, because these weren't made to be that way. The light just wouldn't be thrown. Okay, so as I say, we're going to remove this. It's only held on with some little bend over tangs. We'll take that metal piece off because we'll be using that later. So to show you what I mean, let's just get that. Tell you what we'll do with that glass. Pop it in this card box here. We're safe now. If you just bend these tags, this comes off. Might be able to do it online without you pausing. Let's just see. Probably can. A bit crude, but with nothing to lose by being crude this time. We're going for broke anyway. I would normally go and get some tools, and I probably will have to. I'm trying to bend them tangs. I mean, they look like they're ready to go up. Tell you what we'll do, pull the bulb out. This isn't needed, this part, yet, will be later. It's this centre section that we want. We only need the outer rim, because you'll see that it doesn't fit under the, it won't fit under the, over the lamp holder that we propose to fit. These don't want to go. I know that they do go. They're only here. What we have to do is get a screwdriver and just tap them. Let me do that. I'm not, I say, a bit rough, but it doesn't matter in this instance. What we want, if we chuck that, we don't need that. It's a souvenir to the past. This we do need, but we've got to remove most of the centre piece of it, because it won't fit over this. Look. But we want it to, so that the cap, the proper original Ford cap or the Lucas setup cap, will go on and it'll all look like a proper unit. At the moment that doesn't look factory. We've got to get, well, we're keeping that, but we've got to get that metal to sit over there. And we also have to cut out a little bit to allow for the side lamp. So that's got to go over there. So what you have to do with this, don't need this clip. You've got to just cut it out. Can't remember what I used. Probably think I used jigsaw in a vise, and then just jigsawed around. It almost becomes non-existent, almost just using the last portions to get over that. A hole saw could go in, If we're crafty, you might get the whole saw to bite. We'll have a go. Anyway, I'm going to go, I've got one glass. Now let's have a look at the next glass. What did we get? A dipped one. We need a high beam one now. There's another dipped one. Here's the high beam one in this. Seems a shame to break this, but that's what it was bought for. So we're going to take this apart. It's a beautiful unit. It is a shame, but it's crazed at the back. It's gone. I already see the bubbling on it already. And it was bought to be used for its glass only. I understand that is sacrilege. But that's the way it is. There we go. Okay folks, another careful extraction coming up. Here we go. Very nerve-wracking. Try and peel back away from the glass, so any leverage is not actually on the glass, it's on the metal. As soon as you try and put anything touching the glass, it's gone and you'll never get another. So we mustn't touch the glass. Just keep curling backwards. Always let the force do the work. You with me? Silence again, please. Wayne, stop talking. Lee, stop talking. Jim, Gary, stop it. Peter, stop it. John, stop it. John Lawson, stop it. No talk, no chit chat at the back. Gary, chit chat. I'll chit chat at the back. Chris Bradley, be quiet. No chit chat. Aaron, wake up. You like bomb disposal? Whoa, thought that was a glass then. Woo! So as long as you're kicking it that way, two more to do. Patience comes into it. Have you the patience? Pays off though. Checking you're still on. Another one out, and in one piece this time. The ceiling ring Interestingly, not glued in. Pressed on with a ring. That's probably what the other one was. It's just that the other one was probably just fused. Wow. So they have a sealing ring, then it's just compressed tight. Makes sense. That one out. 2 more to go. There you are. Oh yeah. Welcome to episode 43. Okay, before we smash the glass, I'm sorry about it being destructive, but it's got to be done. Hold on a sec, I think I'm going to sneeze. Oh my god. Oh, it's just on the verge. Please sneeze. Oh no, must be because the camera's rolling. They've just cut the grass as well. Look, next door neighbour does it for me. He's very good like that. He likes it. Okay, so left hand one. Now these tabs, look at those tabs. Only the correct lamp lands in the correct tab. So this is the high beam lamp. So that set of Autopal ones I talked about, you actually don't get. You get the actual same as the Cortina dip. Well, you get a high beam in the dip one, whereas the Cortina's dip only. But yeah, this is the high beam one. Them tabs will only fit in the right plate that fits in here. So all these plates have to go correct. So them tabs, only a high beam light will fit into this type of backing plate. Like that. So there's 4 different types of backing plates. 2 lots of left hand and 2 lots of right hand. Left hand 1, left hand 2, right hand 1, right hand 2. And you can tell by the spring mounts there and this bottom, see that eyelet right in the middle of your screen. Now there's an eyelet, that's for the spring to attach to that spring post there, so you know you've got it right. When that eyelet lines up with the spring post, these 2 tags go in. Inner are always the high beam. This is the passenger side front of the car, so that's the high beam for the middle. This is the dip, and that sits in properly, and that lines up with the post as well. Just going in, you can just see those. So that setup's correct. I've labelled that. They are stamped as well. Those stay together. We'll do 1 pair at a time so we don't get confused. All the glass is done and salvaged without any problems. We're breaking this, then we'll break that one. I don't like doing it. I'm not going to film it because it's destructive. I'll film it when it's been broke. I'm sorry, but I just don't like this. Well, I said I wouldn't film it, but I know you want me to. I've done one, it weren't that bad. Just needs blowing out with the air. Of course, the battery charger does have to come on just when we're doing this. Oh god. I'll do it upright so the glass doesn't land on the silver. That's it. When you hear that, now we put it over a bag and get rid of it. That's it. Okay, join me overhead. I've just been to the sink and cleaned these lenses down. So these are the salvage lenses, looking nice. Make sure you get them real clean on the inside. Outside not as important at this point, but we've cleaned both sides. Give them a wipe down. And that is it for those. You'll not get another chance to clean these on the inside, that's for sure. So, and blown these out with air and scraped out the remaining sealant. Just use the blade carefully with the blade. Again, always be careful. I'm using these naked blades. Round we go to break away that glue. And now for the important bit, everybody, to place your lenses all assembled and make sure they line up with all the tangs, the locating tangs, that you've got everything right, because this is the point where you're going to get your relative position of your glass. This glass in my hand is for the inner piece, so that's this side. And we want to be putting on the mastic now. We're going to use some RTF white silicone. White simply because it's what they had on the original seal colour. You could use clear if you want. We're going to get a bead carefully in there. If it does squidge inside a little bit, you'll not see that. Just don't put too much on, but make sure you get a continuous bead with no breaks, as these have to be waterproof. You've got the weather coming straight at these, so very important part of the build on these lamps now, everybody. Let's move this across to your left a little bit, get that one centralised. You can see how the side lamp bulb is not quite at 6 o'clock, but that is the way it's set, and that's the way we're going. It's not too bad. That is, we can't change that. So we want to get this so that it's parallel, not skewed. So the halogen logo has got to sit square. Now once it goes in, there is a chance to twist it. So you can twist it and get it just right. We're going to use probably just pure vision, my vision, overhead to just get that exactly square and in. So first job's to put the bead of sealant round, then drop the glass on. I want to get these on simply so I can protect that silver and we don't get any marks or any more dust in there than we have to. Then drop these on and let them cure overnight. We'll do the second set tomorrow. What I'll do, I'll prep everything now while this is curing, but we'll clean the second set up. It's just a case of copying what I just did. So you saw what happened. We broke the glass. It wasn't too bad. Kept it upside down, and then the fingers of glass, because I kind of like smashed it in the middle, you can lever each finger up. I use the long nose pliers to grab each sliver of glass and crowbar it off, and it tends to get most of it. Left a few little pieces, but we got them with the blade very carefully. Careful not to slip inside. I have slipped. There is one small scratch, but you'll never see it. So it's, you know, don't be too harsh on yourself about that. We're going to get it. So these will look really nice when they're done, and you'll be able to see the big difference between really clean silver and weathered silver like this one. It's got a very dull finish. You can see how it's all et into the sides. It's the difference between making the car good. So it's very noticeable, big improvement. So you get nice clean silvered and lovely clean lenses in the car. We're ready to get the sealant on there now. It's always the tricky bit for me, but as long as you put a continuous bead in, drop that in. It doesn't even have to go all the way in, although just palm it down slowly, it will go all the way in. There'll be a little splodge perhaps, but it doesn't run because it's sealant. It just stays where it is. You might get an overspill of it. That's not a big deal. So I'm going to crack open the RTF gun and get ready to put these on, then they're done and sealed. Well, I say very important to line everything up first. If you don't, you could end up fitting your glass, and when you come to lay them into the locators, you'll find there's a twist on your glass and they won't be square. There'll be nothing more annoying. I think, if anything, these have to be straight. This is very important. Now you're looking at the front of the car, all that work on the bonnet gaps, all that work on reg plate alignment, bumper alignment and everything else, and then you'd have a skewed halogen logo. That just would not do. This is where OCD really is. I would accept nothing than 10 out of 10 on this now. We talked about compromises. There's no room here for compromise. There's no need to compromise. There's no need to get this wrong. This is one of those opportunities you can get bang on the money. So let's do it. Round we go. And now, without getting silicone all over you, this is the crucial bit. Okay, I'm going to step back and just square that up. that's that one. And just to be extra safe, another layer, you can get away with it this time, round the outside of the glass. That gives it double seal, and then these trim rings go over and you're not even going to know it's there. So they're both sealed in. I'd imagine they'll be IP56, whatever it is, splash proof. You can always get water in from the back where the bulbs are. You're never going to stop that if that was to happen, but it should never do. Little bit of white has pushed down, probably just a little bit too much sealant. So the trick of this is judging the thickness of the sealant bead, but you're going to be okay. And they're straight. That's one set done. Conversion. We've not finished with the backs yet, of course, but that's the hard bit done. So we've got to do all that again. Just holding them back there, okay. I can live with those. We'll put them safe to one side and start the hard road. Although it's, God, I'm tired today. It's coming up to 7 o'clock and I've still got to keep going. Or do I have to? Well, when you're on a roll, the silicon's open, you're doing it, you might as well just see it through. Voice is going, as you can tell. Oh, starts to go towards the end of the day. We're tire out. Oh dear, it's a long haul. Anyway, you get the idea with the lamps. Poor Pete C's wearing out, but he'll be back, don't worry. He's wearing out. It's a tough old day. Okay, this is the final stage, or one of the final stages anyway, of the build for these lights. Just getting the position for these covers. We want to put these plastic covers on, see, to make them look factory. Of course, the Autopal ones just come with your standard hook up at the back there. So what I do is cut out the inner section of this metal piece off the old lamp, get it to slot on but in the right position so that when this is locked on and the lamp is the correct way up, that the cap, when it sits on here, also fits the right way up. So we make a little lock there, straight down. Now this can come off, and then we just, this is where the tiger seal comes in really handy. Let me grab it. And we just go round this mark line, this tide mark, which is the edge, if you will, of the metal cup. We can go as liberally as we want. We're going to just neaten it up with a finger smudge round it in a sec. Right, so that goes on, release the pressure off the nozzle. This now, we want to aim for that, so it might take a little bit of jiggling now just to get this through the metal. There's a certain way it fits in, like this. That's lined up with that. Squidgy down. Another cloth to just get the excess from my fingers there, and then that's on. You can just see it, and then I just go round. Let's go round. Life in a northern town is on the radio. Round we go to make our own sort of gasket. It doesn't have to seal at all, that's simply a physical grip for the cap. Simply a cosmetic little concourse, or not even concourse, but a factory nod to the factory Lucas setup. Just wiping the excess off my fingers off the screen for you. I tell you one thing about Tiger Seal, or any sealant for that matter, no matter how hard you try, you get it blooming everywhere. So that cap would then twist and lock and land there, which is when you turn this lamp into these, when the lamp sits in its indents in the appropriate cup holder, because there's 4 different ones. They all have to be right. You have to get your head around why there's 4 different ones. Then the cap's the right way up. Then once we've got 2 glasses to do, these are done. Let me just check. Yeah, this one's done. Here's one we did earlier coming into the screen now. So that's got its cap on. Let's move that out of the way because that's got a cure. As Robert Smith said, there's 2 that's got a cure. 3 altogether curing. These, all them are curing now at the back. This one's the only one that's done because it was done last night. So let me just try and get you some space. Hold on, let's have a rearrange. Bear with me now, just be a little bit patient, please. Hold on. There you go. See, I'm always thinking of you guys in Patreon and YouTube land. A lamp, a twisty cap. Oh, yeah. And then the bulb can go in there. And then what we do, we wire these caps now to suit our setup. In this case, with it being a high beam bulb, we actually don't have to do anything to that one. That is as it is. We just clean it. We've got new decals. We've got new Lucas decals to go on, so it's going to look really the part. I've had the decals made. This will twist and lock on. That twists and locks on. So you can see that. Well, you can put it on. I put it on the wrong way. It actually goes this way. It should land straight. It does because it lands up with the side light bulb there. Look, see. Side light bulb just about escapes. On this piece of metal for the side light bulb we cut out so that you can get the cable through. And you have to be careful with these aftermarket ones when you put these covers over, because the side lamp bulb is very close to the metal edge, so it would be prudent, I think, to perhaps very well insulate this with heat shrink. Get the heat shrink right down tight and double heat shrink that, because it's very close, that tab. We're going to solder onto that as opposed to using the Lucar. Would be too close to the casing, alright, too risky. I mean, you could do with the jacket of the Lucar connector. Would that then give you the insulation you need? Let me see. Would be very tight and it could chew through it. It's too risky. So that's the only thing we need to watch out for. That positive terminal of the side lamp bulb is very close to the seating ring, or seating cup, if you will. So we'll solder that. I'm going to chop it and make it a more low profile connection. See that there? So that's that. As I say, clean these and new stickers when we're almost ready to assemble. That, I shouldn't be spinning it on that logo, but it is on a towel. That's one done. You can see how bright they are. You just get that silver effect. You just know it's been refurbished. And the white silicone gives the appearance of the white gasket. Yes, there's a little bit of excess on the lens at the front here, but that just scrapes off. There's a little bit on the inside, but we can live with that. We put that down to our capabilities. So one complete there, although we need to get some terps, take this old sticker off and replace that sticker with a new one. We've got them. Clean these connectors. That one will require a 3-pin plug, which we've got, plus one extra wire for the high beam, because remember, Cortina, this would have been side light and dip. That's all it would have been. Hence you would have 3 connections on the back, one for earth, one for side light, one for dip. But because this lamp now becomes dip and a high beam and a side light, you'd need a total of 4 connectors: earth, side light, dip and high beam. So you just drill a hole through here, bring an extra cable out with a male Lucar on it, on a flying lead there, which hooks up into my female. If you really wanted to, you could reuse these type of angle connectors, put a little nut and bolt through and bolt on your own angle connector. I'm just going to have a short flying lead on this one. That would make that, as I say, dip, high beam, side light. And again, as I mentioned, if this was a Cortina one from the factory, it would only be a dip. To get your high beam, you flip your toggle and it switches to the inside of the car here for the driving lamp. The way we do it is, when we switch, the driving lamp will come on, but this will then become a high beam lamp, so you get quad high beam, and that's how you get quad high beam on a Cortina. Okay, that's how we do it. Normally you would not have quad high beam on a Cortina, it would just be a pair of inner high beam lamps. Right, so what we've got to do, what remains to be done, is the glass has to be broken off those lamps, but that's for tomorrow because they've got to cure. There's not much else I can do on the lamps now while everything cures. so we're going to switch across to another task. So, whoops, that was the light build virtually done. You can see how it was done downtown, and you get a factory looking result like this. If you could get new old stock units, you could do it, but then you wouldn't get the quad high beam thing because they're not set like that. So, and I don't actually think that you would be able to put a quad high beam. You maybe have to just change the bulb if you had a decent back reflector for a four prong, two prong bulb. It's possible, don't know, but anyway, this way I like it. And we're going to move on to another task because we simply have to wait for the tiger seal to cure before I can break the lenses off those. It's one or the other. I could have first waited for the glass to be curing onto the lens, and then would still have had to wait for this. Either way, you've got to wait twice. Over and out for this section of the video. Backwards. We'll move on to something else. Okay, it's time to get all the wiring connectors and everything sorted for these. So luckily the high beam ones, some come with a smaller Lucar, so I've changed that for standard size. These ones came with the exact same one. So the high beam one, there's nothing to do. That connector box is fine. All I did was clean up the ends with some acid. And then a new label, because we took the old one off, and they just have the labels across. Let's see how they did it. They did it that way up. Let's see. Make sure we get this right like this. So I've cleaned the casings. They went on lopsided like that, so you get a nice new label on it. Just makes it look more the part. Got plenty of labels. So this one would need some thinners on. This old label's knackered. It's good night from him, and it's good night from him. Whoa, I don't want to go with the fingernails, so let's try the thinners. Breathe in the mountain freshness. Take a bit to break that down, but it's going. Yeah, I'll go. So I just work that magic, removing, there we go, breaking it down now. Stage 1, stickiness. This should disappear. And we're just going to buff these up. They don't need any paint or such. They look better if you just polish them. You don't need to put any satin black or gloss black on these back covers. Leave them as they are. It's better just that way. Look over to restored. If you paint them, they just don't look right. Sometimes you can go too far. This is cleaning therapy at Cortina City. So I'm buffing these in the buff. Not in the buff, I've got clothes on. And then you'll see these tarnished connectors. Please don't stick to my fingers. Goodbye. We'll give that a little bit more in a minute. But if you notice, the end is tarnished. So in with the acid, stiff brush or toothbrush would also work. Watch these change colour before your very eyes. Watch it now. This creates little miniature splashes of the acid. So for this operation, safety glasses are needed. and I've got mine on. Got some new ones. The others were all pitted from angle grinding. Just goes to show what does hit your eyes. So there you go. You clean them up. We've got to neutralise them down. Don't forget, you don't want the acid continuing to be present. It wants to be neutralised, so I just use water for that. And then we'll finish off with a grease, electrical grease, which just stops any corrosion. You wouldn't get it, but it's just good practice, that's all. You're going to be alright. So wipe them down, and we mustn't forget to neutralise. We will neutralise, don't worry. Neutralise the target. That creates almost ready to go cap. So again, the sticker, I don't think they had a particular way around with these stickers, you know. I'm sure I've seen them all sorts of ways. Someone's going to be on a production line sticking these on. I doubt it was a machine. They also have the exact same sticker on the glass itself. And they even had little wrinkles in them, just like that. Just like that mess I've just put on there. Right, so another one on. I'm going to go on here. God, I got gunge all over me. More Blue Peter time. But I'm not blue, Peter. I'm not blue. Can we get it straight? Well, not so much straight, just so it doesn't end up careering off the actual holder itself. God, they are sticky. As I say, they seem to just go on with creases in them, so you could argue that looks factory like that. Who's going to say that the person sticking them on was like that, trying to get it exactly right? That's my excuse for not putting them on straight. One more to go. Right, so we've got two I-beamers there, and then a dip, two lots of dip lamps. So this one, you've got an earth, a side light, and a dip beam, but you now need to drill a hole in it here to get the wire for the high beam, because this does two jobs, as I told you. So in line with that one, in line with that one. Do we measure that? Oh no, we don't measure that. Oh God, why do I have OCD? Oh, it's occurred. Please join me. My OCD magic. Right, spacing, pin to pin when parallel and square. Okay, would be gonna be 15, 16. Okay, 16 it is. And that gives us the other hole to take a single cable through to pick up for the high beam. Because as I said, it gets confused. I don't think anyone still really actually understands what I'm doing. I hope that you do. I hope I can just really condense it down, you know, and say what I'm actually trying to do with these lights. I'm sure people out there know. Right, look, we've got two more rogue and naughty, dirty connectors. Doesn't look like these are copper coloured, but they are. They probably had a zinc coating on them. I've just took it off and just... Let's carry on cleaning. I just had to have a flashcard change. Shiny, happy people. Shiny, happy people. And maybe just a little bit of a 1-2 I buckle my shoe. We'll see you in your next life. And we'll fly away for good. Okay, one more sticker. Oh, it's such a satisfying feeling, sticking on the old stickers. Such a feeling of completion. Try and get them straight-ish. Stop it. Okay, that'll do me nicely. Get that obligatory peat messed up wrinkle in it. Yeah, lovely. Lovely stuff, as Alan Partridge would say. Lovely stuff. Okay, that's that. It's now time to do electrical connections. We'll talk you right through it as always at the city. But a cornucopia of holders. A cornucopia of holders. There you go. Stickers now ready to be used to fit to the lenses when the mastic, the Tiger Seal, has done its magic. I've got some connectors cooking away in a pot over here into your view now. This is just the de-rusting solution, cleaning up these connectors we need to create some custom connectors. We've salvaged them off an old scrap loom. We'll be right back. Some soldering going on, some bulbs to fit, some heat shrink to go on. Let's get this, and let's get this right. Wow, broke solder off the heat. Wow. Side light connection. Just almost done soldering these up. Tick tock. Goes the clock. Right, side light. Earth, then earth for the side light bulb as well, because that's separate. High beam and dip beam. High beam goes straight through because that picks up from our extra wire inside for the mod. Slide the heat shrink over. Slide the heat shrink over on that one. Quite close to the connector. That one goes over there. Hope you can see. Losing my voice because I'm tired again. What an early start. Long day. Long days rebuilding Bramble. A holiday has been earned, I'm sure. Right, so that is that. Everything's there. It's just a question of getting the heat shrink gun on here now. The heat gun on here. I think that is it. Everything should work. Right, heat gun. Guess what? I haven't got a double socket. Hot swapping the plugs. That's crazy. It really is crazy. That should be it. All we've got to do is put a male connector on this blue wire and that would hook into the loom and that would complete the job. We bring that out just a little bit. Should pop through there, which it does. That goes in there. Making sure you can see. That goes there. everything's right, everything's ready. Just the male connector now for that. There should be a male connector hanging around. I won't find it. We'll be right back to test this now. Okay, we're going to assemble this, and then final piece of the jigsaw, these lovely new chrome rings we've had redone. So they go on. This whole assembly goes together now. We're going to do the driver's side first, LH1, LH2, left hand 1, left hand 2. Is that driver's side? No, passenger side first. And then we'll go on to the driver's side. So I'm going to screw all this back together now and put everything into the housing. We've got these Osram night breakers, beautiful. About the best we can get in that range of wattage. So I'll screw all this up. We'll have ourselves an assembled unit. Everything's looking nice there, quickly tested on the loom, and it's running. So let's get these chrome pieces back together on both lamps. Got the high beam one to put on LH1, there it is. Once the night breaker bulb installing in it, there we are, there they are. Grab them at the end, don't touch the glass, lift the flap back, and we'll drop that in. We're good to go. Beautiful chrome trim piece rings there. Beautiful. Shame they're never seen. Sort of slightly seen. The front edges of them contrasting nice with the white. So there you go. That's the first one. We need to do the high beam one. We'll do that next. So what? That ain't a strong connection there. I think that's better. Yep, that's the one. Okay, I can lock that together now. These tabs just need setting. They should be right. There we go. Twist and lock. It's another one done. Oh, actually, you want to be this way. That's the one. Nice. So that can go into this. That's LH1 onto LH1. Only one way they fit as well. That way. Try and get them wrong. They don't seat in the connectors in the socket. So you know you've got it right when you do it like that. A nice chrome trim ring coming up this side. Just off screen, make sure the trim ring lines up with the cutouts for the springs. That's eyelet with that cutout. Just get it to sit on those screws. Trying to remember to keep you in shot, keep forgetting that you're up there. Sorry about that. Another lamp coming up then. Some muck on that, we'll scratch off. These are ready to go into the actual housing, and we can fit the whole lot into the cart. That's the first two off the production line. One high beam, one dipping high, a pair. Sound off like you got a pair. There we have it. How about that? Oh, they have two. We're missing. Got these. They need cleaning. I'll go and get the rest of them. Show you off screen again. Sorry, coming into screen. There you go. These sort of dust covers, if you will, like a boot that goes over like that to finish the job. Also to get those. Right, we need to go and find 3 more of these, and then we are done. Quite a lot to it. Been on this all day. Okay, the first light is in and tested and running. Side lights, high beam, dip beam, all running on that side. So it's time for more. What the? Well, the grill is on. The lights are in. So I've refurbed that grill. Didn't show that, just a masked up and a reset in black on this grill, which is in quite good order. A new GXL badge we found, so that made a nice touch to the front of the car. We'll get a better pullback shot shortly later on, but that got us the grill, and those lights are now working. I'll test them for you later, but we've got high beam, quad high beam, dip and side running okay. So lights are done. That was the end of that little mission, and the grill goes on nice, fixing in at the top there and locating in the locating tanks at the bottom. Everything's connected, and I've tested the electric fan. Just put the heat gun on the sensor and it kicked in, and the semaphore came on the dashboard, showed me the fan was running. Fitted the little heater, radiator diverter flap thing, air block. That was just made up. So, whoops, caught the camera. That's a little, just diverts the air into the rad cowling. So we've got an electric fan running. The tank, as you saw on the earlier videos, is fitted, and the fuel lines are all in. So our fuel lines end up coming in just down here and then into the engine bay. So what we're going to do, we're going to put some petrol in it, because we're getting to the point where we can start the car. The exhaust is on. So we'll go underneath and show you. I did the exhaust last night, but I didn't fit the camera up on the tripod. But there's the exhaust going in. And what we've done, we've made a weld on it there, kink in it, and just put it in the vise and a little bend on the tube to get it round that gearbox. Can you see? Now it's a little bit lower than factory, but this is just to get us up and running. We may well go and get a stainless system fitted. So this exhaust just really gives us the testing that we need. Now Ruby's got the same system, and so Swampy, just standard steel exhaust it is. It's got some matte silver paint on this one. It's just a test exhaust really. If it works, then at least I've got a pattern I can take into somewhere, or I can show them, look, this is how it'll set up. I don't know how much clearance I'll get off that box compared to Ruby's. Ruby's is very low down. I've done this different. I didn't do Ruby's exhaust, I took it in somewhere. To be fair, it could do with a revisit. The prop shaft is just there, and what we're going to do is fit the prop shaft. It's quite an easy job to do. Go underneath then with me. Come on under. Let's have a little cosy chat under here. We've got a few little things, just little touches coming in now, the final finishing things. An earth check strap there, that earths the casing of the speed sensor, stops any erroneous readings. It just keeps it spike free, sort of stops interference, if you will. That's an earth check strap to the sender unit. The VSS speed sensor's connected up. Speedo just about makes it in there. That rubber thing I've left just to stop it chafing, and it comes round on a reasonably gentle curve and goes up, so you just about get your Speedo in. To fit it, I actually have to pull the box to the side, loosen it on this, slot it in, then move the box back, just about do it. So hopefully that will be running. It felt like it engaged. There's different cog drives you can get for the Speedo cable. We're going to have to see. We're on a grey one at the moment, but we may have to change that if the Speedo's wildly out. Handbrake, of course, we did that. That's operating okay. That was one of the last jobs before the lights were done. We'll go round, check for hoses, check for leaks, but we're going to put the petrol in. The gauge should go up. Not got a mega amount of petrol, but it should at least have an impact on the the gauge, the prop shaft. What happens with the prop shaft is you've got what we call the operating angles of the UJs. Let's go under. It's a little bit dark to do my demo for you. It is a little bit dark. You should be able to get that. The operating angle, here's your UJ, and the operating angle wants to be between 0.5 degrees and 2 max. That's the amount of tilt that it's got on the UJs. They're designed to have a little bit of tilt on them, but not really much more than 2 degrees. It would depend on the speed, but the faster you go, the less that degree wants to be. Because what happens is, because this isn't in a straight line, okay, as soon as you create an angle, which is what they're designed to do, you've actually got an elliptical shape now. It's not an inline shape anymore. So on an ellipse, you actually get an area where it speeds up, if you will, and that's what gives you a droning effect if you're not balanced. And the idea is you have the exact opposite angle at the other end. So at this end, if you're 1 degree on the slope at that end, you'd be 1 degree on the slope at this end, and both need to work together. And when that happens, the forces that are generated with that kind of whip effect, look, I'll exaggerate it, as it goes around, it whips around like this. You wouldn't think it, you'd think it'd all be the same speed, but it's not. It sort of changes like this. It averages out because it's faster at one point and slower at the other. The actual overall speed is the same, so you don't lose or gain, because that would be impossible, but you just get points where it's a slower and a faster movement. That creates force, centrifugal force, which causes vibration if the other end is not exactly countering it. So that's what you have to do. And that, to get that, what happens is the gearbox will be on a certain slope and the axle will be on a certain slope. Now the gearbox is pretty much fixed, or you could shim it, but the gearbox, our gearbox at the moment, we're going to measure it, but it's all in line actually as it stands at the moment. The car is around 88 degrees from the 90, so it's like a 12-degree slope. The whole engine, all engines sit at a slight slope. Most engines do point downwards, so this points down, and the axle needs to point down the same way, but in fact actually you point the axle up to create the downward slope. So it seems to be going against your intuition. You've got a gearbox pointing down, and then this points up by the same amount, less 0.5 to 2 degrees, to get you that tolerance, because you want the motion to be travelling right through the box, right through the transmission. So that would mean that to get it pointing down, you actually point the transmission, the axle, upwards, would you believe, because it makes it slope downwards that way. That's the way the force is going. So you don't point down, you point up. So you've got the gearbox pointing down, and you've got your axle flange face pointing up, and that creates an incline on the prop, which you measure, and in our case it's about a 2-degree incline on the prop. As it stands at the moment, the actual whole setup is coming in at 0.7 operating angles at either end of the UJ. You can calculate all this on the Spicer UJ site. Spicer, who make the UJs, are famous for making them, have a little calculator. The idea is that you measure you put your protractor, let's do it anyway. Before I explain it, we'll get the protractor and we'll actually put it on there, because we're going to bolt this prop shaft on now. Okay, here it is. If we can get under the car, should I get you a sticky light? Let's get you a sticky light. Do you want an orange whip? 2 orange whips. Do you want an orange whip? 3 orange whips. Let's get some orange. You want an orange whip? 3 orange whips. Right, sticky light. And this. Now the car is level, although the relative distances are all that matter, but it is actually level. So the perpendicular is going to spin it this way. 90 would be completely at right angles. So you can see that heads towards the 90, like so. It's magnetically based, so it sticks on the end. Hold on, I missed you that. Watch, magnetic. Sticks on the output shaft and gives us a reading of 87. Can you see that? So what you do, you subtract that from 90, because you're measuring vertical. So that's 3 degrees. when will I see you again? Okay. 87, so 3 degrees. And the theory would be that at this end you would also have between 85 and 89 to give us 2 degrees, or even closer if you want, but really not more than that. So I stick this on here and let's see what we get. 88. Look. So we're alright. We're actually within tolerance. The axle is pointing upwards, almost the opposite amount that the gearbox is pointing downwards. Look, wow, I mean that's good going. Okay, now we've got the axle loaded as well, which gives us 87. We're going to reload the axle just to make sure, because that can affect it. So you always want you to do this when your axle's loaded, but it is set. I'm just going to double check that everything's right. Okay, on the axle stands we go. Okay, coming on again. Going to stick on, just checking the axle was nicely sprung. I just basically tried to push down on it. Pop it on, keep it level. And we get, hold on, I've got it on the wrong setting, hang on. Okay. So we get 87.6. And we know it's pointing up. There's a little slope indicator. So 87.4, 87.6, around that area. So if you said 87.4, I wish I could move around a bit smoother for you. 86.4, so there's a degree. Okay. And what you do, we now put on the axle. Hold on, let's try and get you. I know I keep saying that. I'm sorry. Right. You put this on the axle, on the prop shaft when it's on, and it will give you a slope reading, which you then deduct from the other 2 readings, and that gives you an operating angle for each end. There's plenty of info on the website explaining this, but I'll kind of like go through it now on the board. I may as well keep you live because we're getting ready. It's going to be exciting this, because we're getting ready to actually start the engine. Gentlemen, start those engines. Right, up onto the board. You'll see my checklist for this procedure. So if we had the axle, let's draw the axle, draw it with a sort of crude design. That's the flange plate there. Then the gearbox comes out, there's the output shaft, gearbox. So the gearbox is pointing this way down by, well, we got that reading of 80, let's say we got the reading of 87. It's 3 degrees downwards. You want that transmission force to be continually to go down through the diff, not that way like you would expect to point it down to match this. It's not, you go up because it's this angle you're looking at. So this one, in theory, you go 3 degrees up, but you actually don't, because you need a little bit of operating play in the UJ. So the UJ, if you had a UJ here, just straight with no angle, the little needle bearings inside it don't spin up. They need to have at least sort of 1/2 to 1 degree slope on them to get them to excite the needle bearings. Anyway, we're looking at those figures. We got 86 on this. So what you do, you then, once we bolt the diff, the prop shaft on, we measure the angle again, okay, and we're looking at whatever we get. Let's say it's 2 degrees, you deduct that out from each one, so that would give you 1, that would give you 1, and those results, once you've deducted the slope, give you your operating angles, and as long as they're within a certain tolerance of each other, you're alright. So that's what we did, and that's what comes out. I mean, I was lucky, the axle just fell in, and the axle has got these serrated plates on the bolt section of the axle where it bolts to the one of the arms, secure it to the chassis. You can adjust it, you can actually adjust the axle. You can't do it on all Cortinas. Later they stopped this feature. And you can set it to where that roughly is, where you need it to be. But as it happens, I've got mine halfway and it's turned out to be exactly right. Now the lucky thing was, or perhaps it was my planning, was that the gearbox mounts, which was what we welded in the early videos, have come in a range, an area that's really good, in a sweet spot. They come in exactly where they should be. I don't know if I did that by accident or whether I did that by plan. I seem to remember having the engine block and the blank engine block and just an empty housing and gearbox housing all stripped out for lightness when I was mocking it up, thinking I need to be virtually level with the car, and that's probably why it's come in good. So your engine, your whole drivetrain is a complete line through the whole car, you know. Can I get it on this spot? If you said your axle's here, your prop shaft's there, your gearbox is here, and your engine's there with your pulley, if your crank pulley at the front, it's actually all the way through the car, the force all the way through, and that is the line you're interested in. So if I went and put the protractor on the pulley front, we'll get the same reading. We should get around 87, 88, because it's always the same angle. That's what I've learned. Anyway, you may be able to add to this or learn from this, but that's what I've got. And for this reason, we can bolt the prop shaft on now, and we don't have to do any adjustments. It should be in the ballpark, so when the car drives, I'd expect it at least not to be shaking like crazy. We may have to fine tune it, but I would doubt it. I would have said we should be, as long as it all settles when the car lands on all four wheels. Of course it may change, and the only adjustment I could do, I suppose, is to just slightly move the axle to accommodate and keep within this 0.5 to 2 degree range, or we can shim the gearbox if we had to. But it's best to keep the angle of the engine at its natural stance. Now let's see its natural stance. Its natural stance is the relationship between the radiator, the cooling fan, the engine fan, and the radiator. If you look, the radiator's raked back because the engine's raked back. That's to keep the fan blades parallel with the face of the rad. Look at how that slope, you can see the slope here, look. Okay, and you can see that they've countered that slope with the rad by tilting it. So that's your natural incline through the drivetrain, right the way through the car. Look, right the way till it gets to that axle. And that's why the axle is pointing up a little bit to catch this drivetrain smoothly. So that's how it all works. So I say protractor can go on that pulley, and I did actually do that. It was 87 or 88. I did actually do it before I put the water pump on and made a note. So I hope I've put a bit of explanation on what's going on and that you can handle the camera work. So I'll get back to the chase. Go under, there's only 4 bolts to bolt the prop shaft on. You've seen what we've done with the protractor and how those angles work. Okay. So now I would go with the 4 prop shaft bolts. There they are, I knew they were around somewhere, and basically just connect that up. There's not much else to do. Handbrake's on, fuel lines are in, as I said. Anything else under the car that we've forgotten about? I've gone under, looked at the gearbox, looked for any loose cables. I've shook the exhaust around, I'll show you what I mean. Shake the exhaust, shake your, 1, 2, shake your body, babe. 1, 2, shake your body. We shake your body, and we are not, and it's central. could probably get it a little bit more that way, but you go in when you're lucky to get these without them knocking, like. So that's set up really. Now it may leak on my welds, we don't know, but at least it gets us tested. I'm sure it won't do. So that's that, everything's there. You saw the reg plates we did. I can't think of anything else except to start commissioning the engine. So we've got to top up the power steering, we've got petrol to put in. We've done the brakes, haven't we? We've bled them through, saw that. Power steering reservoir, accelerator bracket to finalise, because we've got the cruise control cable to hook in, but for now we'll leave the cruise off and we'll just get it running. We'll then look for anything that's loose, check if we've got a spark and ignition's firing up. I think that's it. So I'm going to put the petrol in now. You should see the gauge slowly go up. So petrol goes in, then the rest of the fluids. We've got to put the EP90 into the back axle as well. Exciting times as Bramble gets near to its first engine test. Can you handle it? Wow, this is going to be exciting. A big moment on Project Bramble. We've no idea what episode we're in. We make a guess that it's episode 44. The Amber Nectar. Fuel goes in then. You saw it here. Here we go. Fuel goes in. Will the sender leak? Will that seal on the sender hold out? We just don't know. I think everything's right. Will all the pipes be good? We've got to get fuel to the engine bay. We need to get the engine turning over. We'll disconnect the king lead and just turn it till it pumps fuel to the carburettor. Once some carburettors are live, we're one step closer, baby. So glug glug. Project Bramble, everybody. Getting close to the finish line now. Can Pete C pull this one out of the bag? Big thanks, patrons, for bringing us here this quick. Light speed, patrons, light speed. And I hope I delivered for you. I hope I delivered. And that you can stay on. Come on, some of you stay on. I'll keep chucking them vids out. YouTube's dead in the water. In money terms anyway. Busy for good people. In money terms, it's dead in the water. Right. Fuel. Time, gentlemen, please. Okay. Time, gentlemen, please. That should move the gauge. Let's go and see if it's moved the gauge. We're out of reserve. It's moved the gauge, folks. Yes, so it's registering. Let's go under and look for leaks. Can't see anything. Gonna follow it through around there and just see. But it's not gonna have brought it out of this tube yet anyway. We need to start bringing some vacuum on that now. Here we go. Let's turn the engine over. Okay, just a tentative initial fire up. I need immobiliser into park. Right, need to put the battery main power feed on for the battery now. We left that off for safety. We can now put it back on. So I'll just pause you, main battery feed, and then here we go. Well, I say main battery feed, I meant the starter motor. Immobiliser again, it's already cut back in. Right, this will turn over now. We're looking out for anything loose. Sounds sweet, turn the radio off. Otherwise the electric air is going to be going up and down all day. Stop. I'm just basically pumping the fuel. We're going to see where and if it's going. could draw it with a siphon. We'll see if we can see any evidence now. Obviously the ignition's off. I'm looking for the filter filling up. A bit early in the day really for that to go, I suppose. I don't think it's through yet. We're dry still. Just make sure that everything's okay underneath the car. I'll be right back. Okay, fuel is through. So I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I've missed. It's got water in it, it's got oil pressure, just check that. Well, I noticed my oil pressure reading once adjusting my micro switch on my oil pressure homemade gauge is reading a little bit too high. Once the micro switch adjusting, we can do that. These are teething, little teething things. Water's in it. It should be back to where it was when we took it off the jig. Let's take it out. It's just the power steering pump pipes are different, so we've altered that. We could possibly get weeping round those when that becomes under pressure, but let's see. Should fire up then really, so I don't see why not. I'm going to have the garage door open, but I think it's sparking, so it should fire up. Got the king lead just over the battery terminal. Can't see it sparking, but then again, immobiliser's cut in again. No, it's not. Immobiliser's still active. I'm trying to see if I can see a spark come off the kit because we've not checked the ignition. That's changed too, because we're now on the loom of the car. It's very hard for me to see from the engine bay if I've got a spark. That's probably too big a gap to actually see the jump. No, it's sparking. It's sparking. Oh, it's flying across. That is it. You've got fuel in your carburettor, right? You got a spark on your dizzy. Okay, the dizzy's twisted. It could be in any position. Hang on, let me just make sure you're running. We've got fuel. Okay. Hello. We've got fuel. We've got oil pressure. We've got gearbox oil in, engine oil in, water in. We've done a visual check. I'm hoping that the water pump doesn't leak. There's some water spillage on the floor there. I'm hoping that's when I topped it up. Let's get a cloth and dry that down and just make sure. I'm not actually seeing anything untoward just yet. As far as I'm concerned, it will attempt to fire now. May run rough because, well, the auto choke's on, so it's going to come in at high revs. Let's just see if it actually does fire. And so always turn it off. Out of gear. Straight in! Straight in! Straight in! Hey! I tell you what, that's not bad for a first attempt. Okay, smoke. What we got? Just exhaust smoke, I think. Wow, look at that water. exhaust seems alright. Yeah. My welding worked. I think we got away with that exhaust. Prop shaft then. Prop shaft on. We'll keep looking for any leaks. Okay, exciting times then. Everything looking good with the exception of my oil pressure switch doesn't work on the clock. I don't know whether I should do that now before we take it out on a test, or get the prop on and the seat in, and then test it. I don't know what I should do. It's annoying me that the switch doesn't work. It should do. Very tempted before the seat goes in just to get that out and have a look why. We need more fuel because we're gonna, you know, we just only just hit the reserve there, so I'm gonna get some more fuel, probably look at that gauge, put the prop on, and that's it. The brakes needed another bleed through. They were a bit spongier than I would like, so I've just run the easy bleed back through that. That's done. This has cooled down now for an hour. Let's just see if we're okay. Right, a top up of water. Check the oil. We're getting ready for a road test, or at least we'll poke the nose. Don't go round poking your noses in round here, other folks like you poking their noses in. We'll poke the nose out, do a 3-point turn and bring it in the other way, so then the exhaust is that away and not filling up the garage. I'm very sensitive to fumes. Whenever the engine was running just before, you just seen the main doors were open, but still gets to me. So we've got seat, prop, oil pressure switch not working for some reason, and that's it. I'm going to do the oil pressure switch now because it bugs me. Okay, we've sussed out why the oil pressure light doesn't work, because the glue gun is not a good enough fixing for the micro switch. We're going to have to come up with another fixing, probably 2-part resin. So I just want that oil light going out when the engine fires up. I know it's a gauge and we're trying to do a road test here, so I'm right in the middle of me getting ready for the road test. I want this right. I've done a lot of work on these gauges. Obviously it just doesn't key to that. We need a better glue. It's going to have to be the speed epoxy. Here we go, speed epoxy coming up. Okay, before we forget, we are labelled up on the axle saying no EP90 in it, so we're going under and we're going Castrol. We're going to pump that in. Battery unit there. So first we go in, you go down on the pod. I adjust the screen so I can see what on earth is going on. These are exciting times, of course. Very good. Very exciting times. Una cosa muy buena. Super. Fantastico. Me gusta mucho. Okay. I stuck to the spanner. Here we go again. Right. Prop shaft out of the way. And I'll try and point you up to the necessary lamp coming in. Quite simply, it's a case of, can you get there? I'm always asking, you see, I'm always thinking, see if you're alright. I bet you're thinking, why don't you just shut up? Right. So, you've got to get, I'll have to rest you against the, can you see? Where am I? Yeah, you can. Hold on. Right. Okay, we're filling up with EP90, folks. So first take the filler cap, filler bung out of the diff casing. Make sure you get your diff plug all the way home. I think that is all. I'm going to tap that in. Is that just pop then? I'm going to tap that in. There's no reason at all why that shouldn't go. This has been in and out plenty of times. That's better. Up and it's galvanised. 19. I tell you what, I don't remember putting it in that tight. Wow. What on earth was I thinking? It's the galv on that, probably wouldn't have helped. It does not need to be that tight. Right, out with the filler plug. Out with the old and in with the new. Right, okay, so we've just got to get this tube in. We're going to prime this first before we put it in here, because it's got traces of automatic transmission fluid. I'm just off screen opening the Castrol LM EP90. Right. Right. Now, what's on your screen there? Not a lot. Right, here you are. Surprising how far you're pointed up. You're pointed up here where nothing's going on just yet. Right, it's gonna make some noise, but that's what we've got to do to pump the fluid into the axle casing. Connect to the battery, which is charged. Right, it's on its way. Now we just need to dump the oil that's going to come through. Talking to myself. Let's see what. No, you can't see that. You'll see it priming. Okay, first lot of oil has gone in. Flash card filled up, but we've been that busy filming. So now, just getting the other one ready. Hold on, we'll reload you now with the next tub of oil. Wow. Okay. Woo. Right, prop is on. Diff is full to the fill line, which is that fill plug. We just need the seat, and I think that's it. Okay, well, this is it. The traction test. Prop should engage. Throttle is connected. needs adjusting. Throttle return spring needs fitting. Throttle is linked up. Just needs this return spring there now. And that's our throttle in, which we needed. If we're going to road test this, you're going to need your throttle. So all goes through all the new powder coated parts. That part goes in, new cable goes on, locks on with a little securing sliding clip there, and one here, this little cage clip, and just this now, and we're done. We should get throttle. Folks, this is it for the first time since the Resto. Bramble is going to be on all four wheels for the very first time. Let's keep you slow. Let's keep you on track. Let's turn the radio down. Wow, this is it. Sort of mixture of nerves and excitement, of course, but the back end's already gone down. Enough of my ugly mug. Back end, just put the jack on because we've got the seats in. Extra fuel's just gone in. Brakes are okay. Engine temp's okay. We just put a temporary seat in. Just a rough old seat, but it bolts in nice. There's nothing to stop us at least taking some tentative steps right outside here. Do you want to see it? Alright, I'll keep you on live then. Don't you worry about that. Don't you worry about that. Here we go. This is it. The big day has arrived. The 8th of July, or could be the 9th of July. I've totally forgotten. Yeah. Are you ready? Go. Do it. Do it. Go on. Down you go, my son. Go on, my son. Go on, my son. Go on, my son. What will the Bramble stance be like? Go on, my son. It's on the four wheels for the first time. You saw it. About 9 o'clock. 8th of July, or maybe the 9th. Whoa. And that was that. We're only going to drive it out. There's absolutely nothing to stop this. Yeah. get ready, because this is it. What an exciting moment, everybody. I don't know where to put the camera. I'll move you back a little bit so I don't run you over. Okay, we made it out, but we need a top up on the auto box. It takes a bit to go into drive, so it's low on fluid. So top up, we should be all right to go backwards and forwards. First time in real daylight. Then here we go. Feast your eyes on this bad boy, and you're inside and on board. Into drive we go, and that's it. This is it. Bit echoey because there's no door cards, but whoa, just gently testing them brakes. They're sharp, they're good. Reverse, great. Working now. It's got the fluid pumped through into the box. The box was a little bit low, so our first drive out, ladies and gentlemen. Exciting times, of course. Bramble escapes. Look at those gates await us. Not much we can do really now. Just going to turn the car around so the exhaust is sticking out the back, but we're ready to begin some tentative road tests. Very exciting times, as you can fully appreciate. Everything seems to be okay. All variomatic, all power, all the features are on board. Let's try the sounds. Now we're in. All these sounds around. Onto
music.
Into the sunset. Wow. Patrons, share it. Wow. Woohoo! It's a good time for Superman. It's just too heavy for Superman to lift. Wow. I don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do. This is incredible. We need to do a 3-point turn and get in the garage the other way. Okay, let's do that. Let's get the 3-point turn on the go. Everything's running as it should. So far, so good. No door handle yet, so I've got to let myself out through the window. No problem. See. looking nice in the evening light too. I promise we will roll the film in a sec. Just wanted to show you as the paint catches different types of light, folks. You get that lovely silver birch magic. That's Ford silver birch paint. Let's roll. Just wanted to show you a nice evening shot. Okay, come on. We've got to rev ourselves up and go. Well, I think justifiably I can now relax and take my creation on the road. Let's get to Italy, let's get to Scotland, let's get out, bing bong, on the road. I hope they enjoyed this series that's took over 2 years to do, and that now you've enjoyed this last few hours on this extended triple edition video which sees the end of the project. There'll be plenty of road trips to come, and indeed I have filmed a lot on the testing and the shakedown of the film, so we'll be uploading all the shakedown stuff too, so you can enjoy that over the next few weeks. We'll still do the live chats, don't you worry, because I've got fleet maintenance to do. Sorry, I'm in dim light, by the way. There's fleet maintenance to do. We're going to bring Swampy into the garage, we're going to bring Ruby into the garage, Tina G's going to come out of stores, and we're going to keep on the videos, so you've always got something to watch. Okay, we're coming to the end of this, or we've come to the end of this particular project. Silver Birch 2-door GXL, all done and dusted. You just watched that, and you're probably all tanked up by now. So, oh, I have any more. Chris Bradley out there, he's bloody legless, isn't he? He's legless. Big shouts out to everybody. And time now for us all to go to Berry Buys. I could sleep here if I wanted, it's that comfy. It's clean, the air freshener's in, everything's right. Everything's parallel, straight. I'm happy with the trim. A couple of little creases in the headline in here and there, but they're just part of it, you know. It's all good. There's little niggles here and there which aren't enough to worry me, you know, like if they were, they'd have been sorted by now. Just a few little tweaks, and we can keep on messing with the car as you do your vehicles and your projects the same way. We're over the mountain, we've come out the other side. You look back through those early films when we're down and the car's the other way around, when we're starting, when we've got the whole bulkhead out. Aren't we lucky that the screen went in? Aren't we lucky that the doors fit? Okay, these rubbers are a bit fat for my liking, but I reckon they'll squash down. You know, a couple of little things. We have a little creak on the plastics, but that's going to happen. They all seem to do that. There you go. We can tweak with these little things. Nothing major, nothing mega. Everything's symmetrical and parallel, which is what I like. It's done what I wanted it to do. I've done what I promised I would do for you guys out there watching the films, whether you be YouTubers or Patreons. I've delivered the goods, and now I can enjoy the fruits, because this is going to be such a great car to drive, and already is. I'm already up to 1,000 miles, a lot of them on the motorway, and it's just been sat at 70, 75, whooshing, like a whooshing sound, like a magic carpet ride. The ride height's just right. I'm very, very happy, and I think it's the best Resto we've done so far. I think Ruby just comes in behind. Swampy, of course, was somewhere to start from. We had a lot to learn along the way. Swampy obviously can always be improved, and we can bring it back up to spec. Some of the body work on Swampy, it's pretty good, but might need a little tweak here and there just to get it back in the ballpark, and a couple of the stone chips done. So we've delivered. We've done the videos for you almost consistently. I know sometimes there'd be 3 or 4 weeks between, but not very often. And I've had my abuse along the way, which I kind of like will miss. I'll miss the sarcasm, I'll miss the nasty comments, of which there's only a few. Maybe you could count them on two hands. And they all just disappear. I'm sure those people are feeling a lot better now. they're just poorly. They can't help themselves. We don't worry about that. But it's been great to write to everybody. It's been great to have all the comments, and I've learned so much, especially recently. The guy, a couple of you about the Easy Bleed. What a schoolboy howler! You pour the fluid in the Easy Bleed bottle. For 20 years, this idiot's been just thinking it was a moisture trap because you've got water in your tyres. That caught the water. It doesn't. You put the fluid in the Easy Bleed canister, so you don't have to. It still works if you do it my way, but as Frank Sinatra said, the final showdown. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed the series. I'm sorry to say goodbye, but I've got to say goodbye. We hope that Matt got to the chopper, and that Skynet, they did finally unplug the plug. In the panic they tried to pull the plug. Matt, get to the chopper! Hasta la vista, baby. Matt! Good night.
Smokey. Smokey. Ah, buck, 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 buck. Ah, buck, 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 buck. He seems to respond to chicken noises. Ah, buck, 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 buck. You're not a chicken, lad. You're not a chicken, so why are you responding to chicken noises? Eh? Where's Chelsea? Where's the little hussy? Where's the madam? Hmm?
firm, restore, save it, get it out, save it, get it out, focus, sharp, vision, power, focus, sharp. Go on, my son, get it out. Go on, my son, get it out. Stay sharp, concentrate, don't give in. Don't give in. Tidy up. Start again. Walk away. Then come back. Focus. Sharp. Vision. Patience. Determination. Sharp. Don't give in. Don't give up. Keep it still. Keep it sharp. Don't give up. Don't give in. Focus. Go on, my son.